16 million Americans put on a uniform between 1941 and 1945. They fought in North Africa, Italy, France, Germany, the Pacific. They flew over Berlin. They crawled up Omaha Beach. They held the bulge in snow so deep it buried their trucks. And what did they eat while they won the biggest war in human history? Spam, powdered eggs, coffee brewed in a steel helmet, hardtack biscuits that broke your teeth, and a canned horror they called shit on a shingle that had been on the U.S. Army menu since 1910. Number 14 is a meat product that Dwight D. Eisenhower personally had to write a letter of apology for after the war. Number 9 was a chocolate bar the Army made bitter on purpose so soldiers would not eat it. Number 1 is a dish 3 generations of American veterans all know by the same obscene nickname. Hit that subscribe button. Let us count down the 25 forgotten poor man meals that fed our boys in World War II. Number 25. The A-Ration. If you were lucky enough to be stationed in a garrison with a working mess hall, this is what you ate. Fresh meat, real potatoes, canned vegetables that still had some color left, coffee from a real pot, soap and candles included. The 63rd Infantry Division wrote after the war that they would have given their eye teeth for one hot A-Ration meal from a field kitchen, because once you shipped out, A-Rations were a memory. Number 24. The B-Ration. Same idea as the A-Ration, but everything was in cans. Field kitchens behind the lines could cook these. Hot meals were served into mess kits at the back of a truck, somewhere in France or Italy. Your mother made better. Your mother was 4,000 miles away. Number 23. The C-Ration. This is what most GIS lived on. 6 small cans in 1 cardboard box. 3 of them were meat. 3 of them were bread and coffee and a little dessert. The cans rusted. The labels fell off in your pack. You reached in and grabbed whatever and hoped it was not chopped ham and eggs again. 3,600 calories a day, according to the manual. In real life, closer to 2,800, because you traded half of it away for cigarettes. Number 22. Meat and beans in a can. C-Ration, menu number 1. Chunks of gray meat in watery brown liquid over pinto beans. Heated if you were lucky, cold if you were not. AGI in a foxhole outside Bastogne in December 1944 opened a can of meat and beans, ate it with a spoon while the can froze to his glove, and never ordered beans in a restaurant again for the rest of his life. Number 21. Ham and lima beans. The most hated C-Ration of them all. Soldiers called it ham and mothers. That is not the real word they used. The real word rhymes with trucker. Nobody wanted ham and lima beans. When the boxes came up the line, the sergeants traded them to replacements who did not know any better yet. Number 20. Pork and beans. It was the same as civilian pork and beans, but with 10 times the salt and half the pork. It was the single can that every soldier in the European theater ate at least 300 times before the war ended. You ate it cold out of the can with the blade of your bayonet, because the wooden spoon had broken 2 rations ago. First pattern break. Here is what most people do not know about Spam. Hormel developed it in 1937, 4 years before Pearl Harbor. It was not designed for the Army. It was designed for Depression housewives who needed cheap protein. Then the war came, and the Army bought it. By the end of the war, the military was buying 60 different kinds of canned meat from 60 different companies, but soldiers called all of it Spam. Lend-Lease shipped Spam to Britain and the Soviet Union. The Brits ate it gratefully. The Russians ate it gratefully. The Americans complained about it for the rest of their lives. After the war, General Dwight D. Eisenhower himself wrote a letter to the president of Hormel Foods. He wrote, "I ate my share of Spam along with millions of other soldiers. I confess to a few unkind remarks about it uttered during the strain of battle. As former Commander-in-Chief, I believe I can still officially forgive you your only sin, sending us so much of it." The Supreme Allied Commander of the largest war in history wrote a formal pardon for a canned pork product. That is how much Spam was on the menu. Number 19. Spam fried in the mess hall. The cook sliced the brick into thick pink rectangles, laid them on a flat top, and fried them until the edges curled brown and crispy. It was served with powdered eggs and hot coffee. It was the best meal a soldier had on a base in England in 1943. It was the worst meal a soldier had at home in 1946. Number 18. Spam with pineapple, the Hawaii version. Cooks in Pearl Harbor and Honolulu figured out that a slab of fried spam with a ring of canned pineapple on top tasted like something actually worth eating. This is where Hawaiian spam culture came from. Musubi, spam fried rice, spam breakfasts. The Hawaiians kept eating it after the war ended. They still eat it today. More spam is consumed per capita in Hawaii than anywhere else in America. Number 17. The powdered egg scramble. Dehydrated eggs reconstituted with water and milk powder, scrambled in a huge flat pan and served by the tray onto steel mess kit lids. They came out yellow. They never came out fluffy. Every veteran who ate them remembered them as rubbery, sulfur-smelling, and slightly gritty. But they were hot. And they were eggs, sort of, in a war zone that counted. Number 16. Powdered milk. Mixed in a bucket by the cook, poured over cold cornflakes at 5 in the morning. The milk was chalky, slightly gray, and never quite fully dissolved. You drank it because the alternative was no milk at all. You finished your coffee before the milk hit the cereal, or the coffee tasted like chalk, too. Number 15. Hardtack biscuits. Yes, still. Hardtack outlasted everything. It was in the rations Washington's men carried. It was in the Civil War haversacks. It was in World War I. It was even in the C-Ration box. Dense flour crackers with the texture of plywood. Soldiers soaked them in coffee, in bouillon, in the gravy from a meat can. Some soldiers claimed the crackers still had weevils. Number 14. Canned fruitcake. This one is real. The Quartermaster Corps packed dense fruitcake in small cans for emergency rations. The things were indestructible. Researchers found a cache of 1944 fruitcake in an Antarctic expedition hut in 2017, 73 years after it was baked, and reported it was still technically edible. Your grandmother's fruitcake is based on the same principle. The fruitcake nobody wants is fruitcake that will outlive you. Second pattern break. In 1941, a physiologist at the University of Minnesota named Dr. Ancel Keys got a call from the War Department. They wanted a pocket-sized ration for paratroopers, something that fit in a flight suit, something that lasted 15 meals. Keys went to a grocery store, bought hard biscuits, dry sausage, chocolate, and hard candy, and packaged them into 3 boxes: breakfast, dinner, supper. He called it the K-Ration. The K may have stood for Keys. The Army loved it. They ordered millions. Then they did something Keys never intended. They started feeding the K-Ration to infantry for 5 months at a time. Merrill's Marauders in Burma lived on K-Rations almost exclusively for an entire campaign. When they came out of the jungle, they had lost an average of 16 kilograms per man, 35 pounds. Out of every 209 British Chindit soldiers examined at the end of the same campaign, 182 had lost up to 30 pounds, and 27 had lost more than 30. The K-Ration was 2,830 calories a day. A man fighting in the jungle needed 5,000. After the war, the same Dr. Ancel Keys ran the Minnesota Starvation Experiment at the University of Minnesota. He became the world's leading authority on human starvation. The man who designed the ration became the man who studied what happened to men who ate too little of it. Number 13. The K-Ration. Breakfast. Biscuits, a small can of chopped ham and eggs, instant coffee, a fruit bar, sugar. 4 cigarettes, a sheet of toilet paper, water purification tablets, a wooden spoon, chewing gum, all packed in a waxed cardboard box the size of a paperback book. You were supposed to eat this for breakfast in a foxhole in the Ardennes. You did not complain. Number 12. The K-Ration dinner. It included processed American cheese in a small can. Some versions had bacon mixed in, biscuits, a candy bar, and lemon, orange, or grape drink powder. The drink powder was so acidic that veterans swore it cleaned floors better than it made beverages. It also included 4 more cigarettes, more matches, more gum, and salt tablets for the heat. Number 11. The K-Ration supper. Serve-a-lot sausage early in the war. Pork luncheon meat with carrot and apple later. Beef and pork loaf after that. Biscuits. A bouillon cube. A 2-ounce tropical chocolate bar. 4 cigarettes. The ration that sent a paratrooper to sleep in a hedgerow in Normandy. Cold, hungry, but alive. Number 10. Coffee brewed in a steel helmet. Every soldier knew how. Fill the helmet with water, set it over the smallest fire you could build with whatever you had. Dump in a pack of instant coffee. Wait. The helmet made the best coffee pot in the world because you could fit an entire squad's worth of grounds in it. Drink straight from the rim. Dump out the grounds. Put it back on your head. A steel helmet doubled as cookware for every infantry man in Europe. Number 9. The Ration D chocolate bar, the tropical bar, was an emergency ration. It weighed 4 ounces, made from compressed cocoa paste, sugar, oat flour, and vitamin B1. It packed 600 calories in a brick the size of a cigarette pack. Here's the trick. The Army wanted a chocolate bar that soldiers would eat only in emergencies, so they ordered Hershey to make it taste bitter, unsweetened, almost medicinal. The tropical bar had to survive heat without melting, and it had to resist tempting soldiers during long stretches of boredom. Hershey succeeded on both counts. Soldiers carried them into every jungle, every desert, every frozen forest, and most of them came back home uneaten. Number 8. Creamed corn. Canned, poured onto a tray, and served beside powdered eggs and fried Spam. The one vegetable every American soldier remembered eating too much of. By the time the war ended, a generation of men hated creamed corn. Their mothers could not understand why. Their mothers had not eaten it 3 times a week in a mess tent in the Solomon Islands. Number 7. Beef and noodles in gravy. The best B ration main course. Canned egg noodles with chunks of gray beef in brown gravy, poured over a mess kit. A cook who knew what he was doing could turn this into something approaching supper. A cook who did not could turn it into wallpaper paste. Both kinds of cooks existed. Number 6. The mess hall breakfast line. Chow at 0600. Powdered eggs. Spam or bacon if the shipment came in. Canned peaches. Coffee. Toast with margarine. Hot cereal on cold mornings. You ate standing up. You ate fast. And you got back in line for seconds if the cook was in a good mood. If he was not, you moved along. Number 5. Canned peaches and pears. The universal dessert. Every mess hall had them. Every C-Ration dessert was one of them. Soldiers ate them with a spoon, straight from the can. The syrup was thin and sweet. The fruit was soft and slightly mushy. A can of peaches in a foxhole in Italy was worth a pack of cigarettes in trade, which meant it was worth an actual fortune. Third pattern break. The dish you are about to hear about appeared in a United States Army field manual in 1910, 11 years before World War I, 31 years before World War II, 58 years before the Tet Offensive. It is still served in some military dining facilities today. Every veteran of every American war since the McKinley administration has eaten this exact dish. They all call it the same thing. They all complain about it. And every single one of them, if you asked them on the right day, would admit they miss it. Creamed chipped beef on toast. Dried shredded beef in white milk gravy, poured over a slice of toasted bread. The Army called it creamed chipped beef. The soldiers called it something else. Shit on a shingle. SOS. 3 generations of men ate it. Fathers and sons and grandsons, all complaining about the same pale pink gravy on the same soggy toast. That is the meal that actually fed this country's wars. Number 4. SOS. Shit on a shingle. Creamed chipped beef on toast. Served in every mess hall in every theater of the war. Breakfast of champions. Cheap beef, cheap gravy, cheap bread. Salt and pepper to taste. Some cooks used sausage crumbles instead of chipped beef, and the old-timers called that a crime. Other cooks used corned beef, and the even older-timers called that a worse crime. Every man had an opinion. Every man ate it anyway. Number 3. The fried bologna sandwich from the mess tent. When fresh meat ran short and canned meat was boring, cooks opened rolls of bologna, sliced it thick, fried it until the edges curled into cups, and slapped it between 2 slices of bread with mustard. The working man's lunch went to war and came home a hero. Number 2. The letter in the rations. A mother, a wife, a sister back home, packing a Christmas package for a boy overseas. She could not fit a hot meal in the box. She sent cookies and a letter instead. Soldiers opened those boxes in mess halls, under truck tarps, and in forward foxholes. They read the letters before they ate the cookies. The letters fed them longer than the food ever could. Every man on every front line had one in his pocket somewhere. Every man who came back home kept them in a drawer for 50 years. Number 1. The first real meal back in the States. The steak, the milkshake, the apple pie, the glass of cold milk that had not been reconstituted from powder. A soldier stepping off a troop ship in San Francisco or New York in 1945, walking into the first diner he saw, ordering whatever was on the menu, and eating it slow. Most veterans said they ate that first meal in silence. They had not tasted real food in 3 years. They did not want to talk. They wanted to chew. Tell me in the comments where your father served. Army, Navy, Marines, Air Corps, Pacific, Europe, North Africa, the Aleutians. Tell me what ration he remembered most. Tell me if he ever ate Spam again after he came home. Tell me if he taught you how to make SOS on a Sunday morning. Those men are mostly gone now. The ones still with us are 99, 100, and 102. But the food they ate fed a generation that saved the world, and that is worth remembering.